This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's do another one here. Does Arn feel like he had better in-ring chemistry with Ole or Tully? Speaking of Ole, why didn't the Minnesota Wrecking Crew get a run with the NWA tag titles? That comes to us from Vermont Mike.
I feel like I learned a huge amount from both guys and different things from both guys. Ole, I learned watching from the apron, and every little thing he did, I learned credibility,
right?
Believability, no wasted motion, make it a babyface, work for everything he gets. That way the audience will appreciate it and respect it. And I think that was very important. And Ole had that down better than anybody I've ever seen. Tully was a guy that would just go out and do whatever he had to do to bust his ass, cater to his opponent's strengths, stay away from his weaknesses, and make himself unlikable almost immediately. Tully was a heel's heel and one of the best of all time.
Do you think Tully's one of the most, I guess he has that in common with Arn? They're two of the most misunderstood figures maybe in all of wrestling, because you put over both the guys so glowingly, and we hear bad things from other people who say that this guy had a bad attitude about this or that or whatever. But man, my experience with both of those folks has been fantastic. Do you think they're both two of the most misunderstood guys in wrestling?
Well, it's hard to, if you look at Ole on face value, and I'm just, again, I'm a guy that if you ask me my opinion about somebody, I'm going to tell you my opinion according to how he has treated me.
Correct.
But you're going to hear Ole's name come up, and a lot of people go, man, what an asshole. Well, Ole was the boss a couple of times.
Yeah.
He was the booker a couple of times. He was the owner a couple of times. And when you're in that position, you're going to screw guys out of money. You're going to screw guys out of position. You know, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have to fire guys, and all those things that preceded Ole, just Ole the wrestler, I'm sure has a lot to do with the way a lot of people feel about him. And,
right.
And let's just face it, he says whatever pops in his brain comes out his mouth, and he that's Ole. That's who he is.
Craig says, in '89, if you would have stayed with the WWF without Tully and you had to pick a tag partner, who would you have wanted to go with?
Haku was good.
Wow. That's a great answer. I don't know that I would have picked it, but that's a great answer.
Well, he took Tully's spot on some of those bookings, and he stepped right in there, and chemistry was great. Loved having him as a partner. Guy was a workhorse. Yeah, he would have been just fine.
Here's one from Mr. Osborne. Do you ever speak to Barry Windham? When was the last time you got to catch up with him, and how's he doing these days?
Well, I do speak to Barry when we do these signings together. I always try to, get an hour or so and visit with him in the course of signings. We've done in the past couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 of those. And it's always a pleasure to see Barry. Barry's still the way he was, happy-go-lucky, seems to be happy with his life and what's going on. And it's always a pleasure to get with him and JJ and Tully, and let's just, shoot the breeze for a little bit.
Really interesting one here from Adam. He says, what event do you feel robbed the industry more? Magnum's car accident or Tully being blackballed?
Wow. Both horrible tragedies, that's for sure.
No doubt.
God, I don't know how you can even guess as to what the ramifications would have been if Magnum would have stayed healthy. You know, he could have been one of the biggest stars that the business has ever known. And that wouldn't be much of a stretch for me to say that if he continued on his, on track to where he was heading, credible career was ahead of him. You know, we've talked about, if Tully would have came back when that deal was being put together, if he would have shown up, who knows what that would have brought. I don't know. It's one of those things people will always be going,
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.